Okay. I am perhaps a little bit too high, but at least I came up with the title and I don't want to forget it. So today's title is gonna be The Other Vancouver. And we're gonna talk a little bit about Vancouver, Canada. And Vancouver, Washington, but we're not gonna dwell on that too much. I hope that you cannot hear my furnace, but if you can, I am really sorry. I am very cold. I just walked in the rain. Like, Seattleites like to be like, I don't have an umbrella. Okay, whatever. I do have an umbrella. I just forgot it at home. So I told my mom, and she's so jealous because it was like a boy band from the 80s. And she wants to go for her, so I might. Still, we'll see. Also, though, update: salt and pepper. Are you kidding? That's awesome. I like to joke. I mean, it's just part of the story that I moved to Seattle because of 10 Things I Hate About You, and they play that song, but my mom would play that song so much too. It's such a good song. So I ended up going to the concert, and it was amazing. A thing that Salt and Pepper were there. Queens. The biggest surprise was Rick Astley. Everyone loves him. I think, my entire family loves him. And I love him. I was Rick Roll in real life, and I didn't even care. So, I don't know. I wonder how much of Rick Roll could I play in, or have, torture you all with. But thankfully, due to oppressive copyright laws, you might be spared. And it's funny, kind of shooting this podcast in more than one session. I mean, I think people probably do shoot in different sessions and stuff like that, but I feel like could edit it or whatever, or for different. But let's just go break down the fourth wall. Yeah, I wonder if all podcasts do that or not, but I'm telling you right now that real time happened yesterday. I went, and then today's another day where I haven't finished the podcast, hopefully. But yeah, Foco would get a kick out of this, maybe. Welcome. You are a co-creator in this. I mean, maybe if someone engaged more, but I understand. Don't be shy though. But going to the concert, it's making me think about my concert experiences, even back to when I was a child. The first concert I saw was based on this telenovela called Floricienta from Argentina. Great music. I've seen the band Metric a bunch of times. I've seen Stars, and I will be seeing them soon. That sounds like a bad... sounds like I'm about to be punched, or I'm gonna punch myself. I'm not. No, the band Stars, and which I love them. They're my favorite band. There's probably the best I've seen live has been Courtney Burnett. Yeah, I really like Courtney Burnett. Her music is awesome, but her live show was just great. Sometimes it feels weird to talk so much about music, and the thing is that it makes me feel like a real fucking nerd. But sometimes I almost feel like I should have a music podcast instead. No, not that this one couldn't be. This is really just a free-for-all Jesus, take the wheel. Do not take the wheel. One time, this guy, during a concert where I watch Waves, this dude just yells out, "Jews for Jesus." And if you don't know that, it's like this weird, super religious organization that Chris Pratt was a part of too. And it, like, I sadly anti-Semitic, tries to convince some Jews that they need Jesus in their life, and I really wanted to find this guy and punch him, but I didn't. So, you know, there's good and bad experiences. And I see the music festivals more, but not as much. And sometimes, yeah, there's this feeling of, like, feeling almost, like, so cliche. Feeling like, you know, the movie 500 Days of Summer, because this is a way I connect with people a lot. It's music and being like, you like the Smith? I like the Smith. This relationship is gonna work out. And this is why none of my relationships have worked out. And no, I don't like the Smith because Morrissey is a fucking racist and not that talented. You know? Ooh. So I'm trying to think of boomer rock. And another, you know, a show, someone was here recently was Paul McCartney, and I brought out my dirty secret. I love the Beatles, but the Wings, gosh, great, highly underrated. But yeah, it's a way to connect. And I think there's a lot of interesting historical aspects to it. And I mean, since this is a podcast, we're having a drug. We're having two drugs actually, because we're having Coca-Cola and Green Revolution water-based tincture. I might have talked about tinctures before, but okay. Real quick, there are two different types of tinctures. One is spray-based, oil, like, you know, oil-based. It's usually sublingual. Then there's, like, the water-based ones, which you can do sublingual too, which the bud tender at the shop, you know, I've been trying, but he said to, like, just hold it under my tongue, but I really do think it's much better putting in a drink. So I'm drinking Coca-Cola, so this is both caffeine and weed. And sometimes, you know, I was dating this person, and then they would get, they would, you know, drink from my Coke, and then I'd be like, hold on, it's been dosed. Thankfully, it was just a joke. It's like, this is the tincture Coke. Like, he was okay with it, but I would just be like, I'm like, I'm happy to share it, but just probably the one that I'm drinking right now, it's like, it's probably been, you know, God, what was that, spiked or whatever. But this doesn't help that I have like 5 million cans, some finished, some half not finished. Not that bad. I've seen some men who really leave like 5 half finished, like, beers. All the found soldiers, all of them. Or at least that's how I've heard it. Many websites find it hilarious that it takes me so long to finish a beer. And one time I did finish it. I was at this bar back in Arizona, and I nursed a beer over 1 hour, and it was, the bartender told me they were impressed, and they were not actually being sarcastic at all. They were impressed. I don't know how to feel about that. And talking about when we were had friends, and then we're talking about them being from Vancouver. So this episode, that's why it's called the Over Vancouver, because they couldn't say quick enough that they were from British Columbia and not to Vancouver, Washington, across from Portland. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, you probably understand but it's this suburb right across from Portland, which is really, rad activists and community events. And then Vancouver, Washington has a highly unvaccinated rate, and it has a lot of right-wing militias. So I don't know, it's just funny. So now I'm like, the other Vancouver. Listen, I haven't had an out for a while because I haven't gone to an open mic on for stand-up. So you're all subject to these jokes now that I no longer remember. So one thing that I'm proud of is that I've been listening to more podcasts. I have a hard time listening to podcasts, but I have this belief that when you do a craft, you should, at least try to listen to other people. And sometimes I feel like I need background noise or something, but it's just, I don't know, everyone listens to so many things at once that it's hard sometimes for me to listen to one, but I'm like, what is the different format, and what makes a podcast, and what kind of podcast, and how different is that from old time radio? I don't know, it's just fun. I think I get that from my mom. To major in communications, but I think I love this radio. I have a lot of interest in underground radios, communist radios, maybe some pirate radios and stuff like that. But yeah, it's into the history of the radio, it would be fun. But so I listened to Mechanical Freak, because it's my friend's podcast. That is one aspect, and it's just really good. Actually, it's really good. If you probably have listened to it more than anyone that's listened to this podcast. And then, hello, if anyone from Mechanical Freak listens to this, I'm sorry. I hope you're not cringing. I'm cringing right now. I'm cringing hard. I know. But it's a really great topic on neoliberalism, society, and dystopian. Some other podcasts that I liked before was Reveal, which would be in-depth journalism. And then there was also Throughline. Yes, I love Throughline because it connected the context of the past and how we are here in certain situations, like current economic situations or immigration, and because erasing the context and erasing this history makes it so we make the same mistake over and over and over and over again. I believe that no context and a historicity or being ahistorical is kind of repugnant. I'm sorry. It is. It's we have a migration crisis. There's so many people coming. Oh, remember in the 80s when we decided to bomb the shit out of all of Central America? But let's not get into that today. Another one that I do watch, and then they're technically podcasts, are the surveillance report, so I can scare myself into liking better privacy and security. I would definitely recommend that. I watched it on YouTube, so for the longest time I didn't really consider it a podcast, but I guess it is. Same with Sonar News. So, I used to, I think it was Legends and Myths, because I really like kind of being told a story as I'm falling asleep. Maybe there's a podcast where people just read Wikipedia articles. And it's kind of fun. But also, I think part of it, too, I mentioned that, like, I am neurodivergent and have ADHD, that you would think that someone, you know, with nonlinear thinking would prefer certain methods, and I do, but I prefer, like, sometimes text-based methods. It just makes it easier for me. But I haven't listened to a while, but I want to more. You know, anyone that you do want to interact and want to recommend any podcast, let me know. There were a couple of good ones. For a while, I really listened to Anthropod, which was just about anthropology topics, which is like my first love. There was one about social work, decolonizing social work. I should probably maybe go back to those, but I sometimes want to do so much and with so little time, and really just do the same, which is like look at Wikipedia. And I don't know, I guess because I feel kind of shy, so I don't really talk to a lot of other people about their podcasts. And I like talking about the process of the podcast. So maybe I should look into that. But I mean, there was one podcast who also had one about weed, and which was funny. And we talked a little bit, but that was it. That was it. I don't know. This is another evolving project. It's just high fam. Originally supposed to talk about edibles, but now she talks too about just all of her thoughts. And I think podcasts are more fun when there's someone else, especially we're gonna figure out this. Gonna have a guest one day. I don't know, maybe one of my friends that really likes to get high, because I've noticed the episode that's most popular is Dank Chocolate Syrup, in which both me and my friend are talking, and I actually really like that one. It's just much more fun. But I think, yeah, I'm gonna make it my mission, and I guess like maybe trying to see podcasts as like, you know, every episode can be individualized, and I don't have to listen to it as a continuous arc, unless it's supposed to, like, you know, the way people engage in art, it's so differently, but it's so interesting to me. When I really also want to see is like History is Gay again. It's not, you know, like even during non-pride, I would definitely be talking, especially because things are not so hot right now in America when it comes to LGBT rights, and I think we need extra fun and extra kindness, because after all, being queer is all about unbridled joy. And but yeah, I wonder if Pride is universally celebrated on it's universally celebrated like on all the same month. Probably not. And I mean, there's different days. I know, like in Latin America, where I'm from, where I was born, you know, there's some headway, there's not some headway. I know there has been but more and more people being like, you know, day of protection, or, you know, trying to change the law. So it depends on the context of the country. Okay, let's look it up. Well, no, I am way too high to read all of the history. Maybe next time, that will be fun. But I think a lot of us know some of the basic history of Pride, which is the precursors were the Stonewall riots, which happened in June, due to, you know, gay people being oppressed by cops. So cops are not fucking welcome. Neither are transphobes, homophobes. Like, fuck off. And then, wait a minute. Okay. Brenda Hauer. Brenda Hauer is the mother of Pride. Okay. Alright, we're going to do more research on that. It would be a lot of fun. And maybe I'll be a little bit less high, so I don't have so I'll be able to read this, because it's very interesting. Especially in places where there is other TV free zones and things are hard. So, it'll be cool. Well, quick Pride/weed. In the 80s, during the AIDS crisis, there was this woman called Brownie Mary. And her name was Mary Jane, actually. And then she was in prison for giving out, big brownies for AIDS patients at the hospital ward where she worked. And she pushed for more and more decriminalization of weed. I mean, that's one huge aspect of the two that we need to realize again the history of it. So we have one person who pushed that, and not only for their own purposes, but to help others. It's so hard, especially during the 80s, and feel like you don't have a family, being rejected by your family. So she would call everyone there her children. Brownie Mary, look her up. She's awesome. And it's high of them. It's super gay, and it's super high, and weed is inherently gay. Goodbye.